Jaguars defensive end Yannick Ngakoue has ended his holdout. He reported on Sunday for the Jaguars. We'll see how good the Jaguars are going to be. Again, that's another. To me, that's another huge question mark type team that you don't know how good they're going to be. I don't even know if they know how good they're going to be. But you gotta come into that locker room and be ready to go. And there was a quote that Ed Reed, I'm going back a little bit, but there was a quote by Ed Reed, I think it was the night before the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he had a sit-down interview where he said, it starts with the little things. That's important in life. But he was talking about guys throwing the towels away. They were throwing them away and, they were just throwing them on the floor and saying the guy that was working there could pick them up. And the guy was, I believe he was a retired firefighter, or he was a firefighter, volunteer. And he said, hey guys, it starts with the little things. Pick it up and throw it in there. Don't allow this guy to have to pick it up. And he said, when they started doing that, he said they started coming together more. They started growing more. And eventually that was the year that they won the Super Bowl. Shout out to Key C. Thank you for tuning in. And that's big ups for Ed Reed, man. Anytime he was on the field, there was a possibility of him getting an interception. There was also a possibility of him taking it to the house. Any opportunity he was on the field, and even he said it in his speech, what he would give for one more interception. And I know he would love that. And also he has the record, I believe, for the longest interception. I think it's 106 yards. But Ed Reed was that guy, no doubt about it. Also, any Andrew Luck fans out there? Shouldn't be any. Should not be any Andrew Luck fans. But Andrew Luck certainly believes he will return from a calf injury for the Colts opener. I don't even know if it matters. This guy he really hasn't lived up to the hype. And he has been put on this pedestal of somebody that is the next greatest thing. And he just hasn't lived up to it. But he will, as being reported, that he will be ready to go. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. But what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. You're tuned in to the Weekend Wrap-Up Show, episode 139. Hate has no place. Rest in peace again to all the victims in Dayton and El Paso. Was not fair at all. So we'll be right back. You're tuned into the Weekend Wrap-Up Show right here on X Squad Radio.
Unexpected car problems. Well, I am here to tell you about a viable solution. Bay 11 Auto and my man Melvin. You have emission problems? Brakes need changing? Transmission slipping? Is your car just driving sluggish? No problem is too big. I live on the other side of town and I drive over an hour to a guy that I trust. Melvin is honest, dependable, and definitely not in the business to break your pockets. Come see the official mechanic Melvin at Bay 11 Auto. You will be glad you did. You can reach him at 1455 General Arts Road, Conyers, Georgia, or 404-295-5715. That's 404-295-5715.
This is Mocha Bella, and you're tuned into the X Squad Radio Network, where we're changing listening habits 24/7.
Welcome back to the Weekend Wrap-Up Show, episode 139. So, I've been talking about the Astros, the Houston Astros, way too much on this show. Way too much on this show, but they're doing their thing, and they continue to show that they want to win a World Series, that they're not playing around, This is not a joke to them. This is not a game. You think it's a game? It's not a game for them. It's not a game. And they had a no-hitter this weekend. A four-pitcher no-hitter, which is the 14th combined no-hitter of all time and the second in team history for the Astros. Aaron Sanchez, who just got traded to the team, was involved with this no-hitter. So as much as I dislike Houston, I got to give them their props. You got to give the team where the prop. You got to give them props where it's due, and they continue to show that they are dominating not only the American League but the entire Major League Baseball. Also, Verlander, with another huge performance this year alone, has his 9th career 200K season. I honestly thought Verlander was just done. I don't think he had that much more to give, but guess what? He proved me wrong. He proved a whole lot of other people wrong. And that's why you cannot count out these great pitchers, because you never know when they're going to end up bowing out, when they're going to end up not bringing it. Who knows? He may even be one of those guys that may end up being a closer just because he can continue to stay in the game. A couple of comments here. Ed was awesome. Anna Kane. Ed Reed was the best safety ever. Facts. Nobody catching the all-time NFL interception leader, former Viking Paul Krause with 81 career interceptions. And Ed Reed was that guy. He was in that era where you had Miami players coming out every year, defense, offense, whatever it may be. Not very many quarterbacks, but they could produce some running backs and defensive players. Think of Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, DJ Williams, Jonathan Vilma, I believe, was a Miami guy, Andre Johnson, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore. I mean, that list is so long. And a lot of those guys will be or already in the Hall of Fame. Some UFC talk here. Dana White has released, or says he's going to release, Chris Cyborg. If you know Chris Cyborg, she is dominant in the sport of MMA. She wanted out, I believe, of her contract, and it looks like that's going to happen. I think the top competition, though, is in the UFC, but sounds like she's going to go somewhere else. We'll see what happens. She's going to be a highly touted free agent as far as MMA goes. So we'll see. Also, we had UFC Newark this past weekend. Colby Covington ends up unanimous decision over Robbie Lawler in Saturday's event. 2 judges scored it 50-48 and 50-44. Covington, the win in his first fight since beating Rafael dos Anjos in June of 2018. We're having new guys coming up. I think that's always a good thing to see. New names, new people. Definitely an exciting moment in the UFC, and they continue to show that they're here. They got paper. They have fights every weekend, every single weekend. It's not just once. It's not just once a month, but every single weekend. Also, boxing news coming out that Canelo and I cannot say this guy's name right. I'm not even going to try to say it. I think it's Derevyanchenko, maybe. But he is possibly going to fight this guy for the vacant middleweight world title. They have a date of September the 4th. So we'll see if anything happens and what comes of that. But it looks like Canelo's looking for some new competition. And we'll see if that happens. And maybe that was Triple G. Excuse me. Maybe that's Triple G. I have my story mixed up. But boxing's not dead. Boxing is not dead. It's just a matter of you watching the top fights that are on. But boxing is not dead at all. Also, you have another UFC fight coming up. Corey Anderson, I actually interviewed him on a previous show. Go back and look up the archives. Versus Johnny Walker. Yeah, the guy's name is Johnny Walker. At Madison Square Garden, UFC 244. That should be an interesting one. So that's Triple G, excuse me. So IBF orders middleweight title bout, Triple G versus Derevyanchenko. They have 30 days to book the fight for the vacant belt. So that's what's actually going down there. Let me know how you guys are feeling about your NFL teams as we're in training camp. Got preseason games coming up. It's seeming to be that people are saying Lamar Jackson looks like a different quarterback. I don't think he looks like a different quarterback. I just think he is continuing to progress and get better and better. He was already good. He was doubted coming out of college. But he won the Heisman. He showed what he has last year. Now he's just getting ready to kick it up in the next gear. I'm a huge fan of Lamar Jackson. I think he is going to dominate this year. But let me know how you guys are feeling about your teams as we have preseason. I believe we have I think we got a Cowboys game this upcoming Saturday, I believe. But let me talk about my team. We got a couple minutes left in the show. There's a couple of players that I'm excited about. Number one, and you look at that receiving core, is my guy Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup coming out of Colorado State, wide receiver. I think he has a lot to show this year. Last year he had some sparks. This is second year. So I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring. Also, you look at that secondary, Xavier Woods. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring. He's seeming to have a good camp. You got some of the young guys out there. Kevin Pollard. I believe his name is Kevin Pollard. But the kid from Memphis, he's really showing why he was picked, where he was picked, making some nice catches. Definitely a fan of his. And I want to see what these, and it all kind of depends on what's going to happen with Zeke. This season is going to be heavily riding on what happens with Zeke. And if we have any type of issues, the season could go a completely different way, solely based on that. So that is going to be a huge part of the season. And I'm really looking forward to Dak this year. Dak going into his fourth year. He is progressing. People at camp saying that he is looking like a Pro Bowler, making throws. Another guy, Malik Collins, and this is according to John Jock Taylor. He hosts a radio show on 103.3 ESPN. But Malik Collins, who is crushing camp, he's a defensive tackle. And what is Jason Witten going to do this year? Grandpa Jason. At this point, he is Grandpa Jason, and whatever he does, I think is pretty much an add-on. Whatever he does is an add-on. I'm not expecting that much of him. I don't know how much everybody else is expecting of him. Tony Pollard is the guy from Memphis. I said he's impressive with his quickness and with his speed. And the backup QB, I am scared. I am scared and I'm afraid if Dak goes down, what is this backup QB spot going to look like? You have Cooper Rush, and you have, I think his name is Mike White or Chris White.